Welcome to another episode of Chatroom with Shizza. Today, I'm going to be in conversation with someone who's heading what they call a geopolitical game changer. It's a movement that's close to a lot of people's hearts and it's taking everything by storm. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be in conversation with the lawyer and activist Gurpatwant Singh Pannun. Hello, Sasriyakal, how are you doing?
जी शिरजी I want to greet Pakistan. वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह जी.
Let's start then. A freedom fighter, a fugitive. The internet and the world has called you a lot of things, but I want you to tell us who really is Gurpatwant Singh Pannu.
See, it's not about who is Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. We have to look at the movement that Gurpatwant Singh Pannu is part of. It's not anything to do being Gurpatwant Singh Pannu is an individual or he is a political leader or he's the face. What we are running as Sikhs for Justice, which we do not call it an organization, it's a movement of the people, and it's a movement to liberate Punjab from the Indian occupation. And what we are using at this time is Khalistan Referendum, and we are using a ballot. So Gurpatwant Singh Pannun is a part of Khalistan Referendum. Being a lawyer in New York for over 20 years, I'm the general counsel. I'm the one who gives advice on the legal issues, what are the steps we're going to take, and what we should be doing the next.
Okay, very rightly explained. But since you call it a movement, I want to mention over here famous journalists from Indian media have compared your cause, your movement, to that of Al Qaeda or ISIS. What do you have to say about that?
Means if we look into the uh, press and the media of India, they call Prime Minister Trudeau a terrorist, and they are calling even President Trump a lot of names. Their standard is what they have been given by the Modi government. Anybody in India who's going to speak about human rights, who's going to uncover 70 years of the genocidal violence that the Sikh community has faced from the successive Indian regimes, starting from 1947, from Nehru to Gandhi to Manmohan to Modi. Anybody who's going to uncover that, anybody who's going to challenge India's sovereignty, which I do it openly. They can compare me to Al Qaeda, they can compare me to ISIS, but they have just seen a side of us, of Khalistan referendum, where we are using just a ballot, where we are just using people as a power, vote as a weapon. I wish they don't see a day when they have to compare Sikhs for Justice or Pannu to Al Qaeda, because then I'm not sure they will be discussing this topic anymore or not.
Right. You sound like a very brave person, considering how you've taken up this fight against an authoritarian regime. Why are you on Modi's hit list?
It's you said brave. It's not about being brave or being not brave. When a government like Modi has put a bounty on your head, and they have paid multiple hitmans, the cartels, to kill you. What we believe as a Sikhs, the day I was born, the date of death is written right here. I'm not afraid of their bullet. I'm not afraid of their bombs. I'm not afraid of the death. Modi, the government of India, Modi is just a prime minister right now. Modi wasn't even probably born when the Indian government was committing genocide of Sikhs in 1947, 1955, 1984. What we see over here is the Indian system. That is the issue. Whether it is the Sikhs working to liberate Punjab, or the Kashmiri freedom fighters to liberate Indian occupied Kashmir, or other movements. Anybody who's going to challenge their sovereignty uh, in India, they are able to control them. In India, they committed extrajudicial killings, and they made Punjab the killing fields. But outside, when we started our Khalistan Referendum campaign in 2014 and started this movement, they were taking it lightly. They were thinking that this is another campaign they will be able to control with their contacts or whatever they had it. But having failed to do so, the last option for them to stop the liberation of Punjab from Indian occupation or to stop the Khalistan referendum movement are what we are uncovering, the decades of extrajudicial killings and the decades of econocide that's happening in the Punjab. The only option they have is to probably kill me. And the only option I have is to make sure that we, as a Khalistan referendum, uh, what we are organizing, we reach the goal. So basically, it's a bullet, India's bullet, against Khalistan ballot.
You certainly seem like you're not scared of death when you have a purpose to live for, when you have a real cause. But Panuji, aside from politics, I really want to understand what goes through your head in your daily life, because I'm pretty sure, other than this part of your personality, you have a lot going on in your life also. To have a bounty on your head, does it affect your day to day life?
It has become a part of the life, and this is my mission and goal of the life. I'm just living to achieve this. I have nothing else going in life. This is it. Either we are going to reach the goal, we're going to finish Khalistan referendum globally, then we are going to hit Punjab slowly, and we are going to make sure that each and every Sikh member of the community, whether they are in Punjab or whether they are in other parts of India, globally we are already reaching to them, that they know their rights, that they know they have right to self-determination, that they know that the successive Indian governments committed genocide, that they know that they are committing econocide of Punjab. Right now, over 30 farmers minimum, this is their own data, they are forced to commit suicide in Punjab. So my life goal and my life revolves around campaign, and that is Palestine.
Right. I have to mention over here, Panuji, there's a counter narrative to Khalistan going on. And what they say is that, Panuji, they speak about you and your fellows, and they say that you don't really care about Sikhs outside Punjab. You only care about Punjab. Because if you're talking about Khalistan, and if you do get freedom and Punjab becomes Khalistan or an autonomous state, non Punjabi Sikhs question what happens to them then, because then they become a minority in the rest of Hindustan, and we all know what happens to minorities in Hindustan.
That is the narrative and the argument which is the from the Indian side. But the Sikhs in other parts of India are already minority. They are already labeled as Hindus from 1950 when they just came up with their constitution. So living in a fear, which they have already faced genocide during 1984, around 19 states of India and over 100 cities. Six were extrajudicially killed. Six were necklaced to death. Sikh women were raped in the broad daylight on the roads because we do not have a country. And their narrative that what will happen to them, I wish I lived to see that day. And I challenged the whole world at that time. Let us have a country, Punjab independence. I can assure you, and you can record me, there are two things going to happen. Sikhs, anybody who's going to touch a Sikh as a minority, they will face the consequences. Anybody in the world who is going to touch a woman, whether she is a Sikh, whether she is a Muslim, Hindu, or a Christian, they will face the consequences. And there will not be a child in the world who is going to die hungry. This is what Punjab is going to look like. This is what Khalistan is going to look like. So if somebody is living in fear right now that they will be in a minority in India and India is going to kill them, India is going to face severe consequences, and we will make sure not only we reach to that parts of India and take over, we will take over India. They know that.
Right, and Panuji, I think it is pretty much understandable because everyone is aware of how BJP operates in what a so called biggest democracy of the world really is. Everyone is aware on a global platform. People talk about the atrocities that go on. You already mentioned against Sikhs, yes, but also Indian Muslims, specifically Kashmiris over there. So I would say that this fear of being attacked while living in India if they side with you, the fear must be real. But my question is, do the Sikhs have the freedom to choose to be with Khalistan or to be with Hindustan?
Of course, that's what the Khalistan referendum is. And that's why this question India never wants to ask, because they know that a Punjab, where in 1990s, if you see, these Sikh freedom fighters, they were forced to pick up arms in their defense, because this is a community which has never been occupied for so long the way it is right now. Uh, when we are discussing, that whether every Sikh is a part of a Khalistan referendum, whether they want every Sikh wants to liberate Punjab from the Indian occupation, that's what the referendum is about. Nobody is forcing anybody to vote one way or the other way, and that's what the referendum means. But on the other hand, India is forcing India is forcing this their occupation on Punjab. And the history, you can go back from 1980 till now, over 100,000 Sikhs gave up their lives, they were martyred. And when we talk about 100,000 lives, that amounts to 10 million people. 10 million people at that time were a part of the freedom movement. And 1989, those elections, they were, you can look into them, they were for the call of Khalistan. And every member parliament was aligned to a pro-Khalistan group. Even today, if there is going to be a free referendum running through UN, or let India do it, I would say let India do it even non-binding to figure it out. You would see that it will be 80-20. That's the minimum I'm telling you.
But well, I hope India listens to this. But as we know, India is not very good with keeping up promises of referendums. Now, back to Khalistan and understanding more of it also. So, is this a regional struggle against, let's say, decentralization of India in this region? Or is it a strictly nationalist Sikh movement?
What I'm discussing and what we are for, we are just working on a campaign to liberate Indian occupied Punjab at this time. And
Right.
once we liberate Punjab from the Indian occupation, the independence of Punjab, the independence of Khalistan is the road for the independence of the Indian occupied Kashmir. Once we liberate Punjab, it's not only Punjab, it will be at least 9 states and India will be balkanized.
And that's really saying something. I have to mention over here that you said in an interview that Hindustan will not stay on the map. What were you implying with that?
Exactly same when they said that in the future, uh, Pakistan will be wiped out of the map. They stated this one. And my response was Pakistan is Sikh community is the backbone of the Pakistan, because our Guru Nanak's Janamasthan is in Pakistan. If any country will ever attack or say this one, they will be wiped out, our not only response will be that, because maybe they are just trying to threaten Pakistan, but we will make sure. When I say they will be wiped out, this means there will not be union of states which is called India anymore.
So, when you say that Khalistani Sikhs stand with Pakistan in any time of war, is this what you mean? If, God forbid, in the future there's ever going to be a confrontation between India and Pakistan, then Pakistan can have faith in Khalistani Sikhs to stand by them?
We already showed it. Means I'm not talking about 60s, 70s, we were not even born, but I'm talking about in 2025 when they attacked India, when the India attacked Pakistan. we gave a statement and we made sure that Sikh soldiers that they stand with Pakistan and they do not fight for India. Right now, there are over at least 17 or 18 soldiers who are facing court martial. Over 300 who are investigated. When we are saying that we are standing with Pakistan, we have already proved it, and we are not proving it with the words, we want to prove it with the action. But now the ball is in the court of Pakistan, whether they wanted to militarily arm Khalistan Sikhs who are fighting for Khalistan, whether they want to take their help and attack India. Means we are waiting for Pakistan to do some action so that we can really balkanize India and we can liberate Punjab from the Indian occupation. So it is for Pakistan to decide how they want to take the help of Sikhs.
Right. I think you already addressed this issue that Indian media is very theatrical, and a lot of things that come out of Indian media is much more entertainment rather than news. But it must bother you at some point that your struggle, or rather you living away from home. I know, first of all, how hard it is to stay away from home. It's for some people who are living inside the country, it looks very glorified. Yes, you're living abroad, but so for someone who's actually away from home, it's really heartbreaking. So Indian media actually also blames you of convenience because you're staying away from home. They say it is convenient for you to start a cause and then become a freedom fighter. And they have also blamed your movement and your fellows of certain crimes, drug smuggling or contract killing among some of them. How would you like to respond to that?
They have to see that it's not a matter of convenience. As I stated, the movement started. We are a part of the movement that started in 1990s, and if you have to make sure that you reach the goal, first thing is you have to survive. In 1990s, pro Khalistan Sikhs they moved out to different countries, and we did not stop the movement. As soon as we got our degrees, as soon as I got my lessons, I started that very day the movement. When this is India's narrative, because they have made Punjab a killing field. The movement belongs to Punjab. It is a ground zero movement even today. There are over 500 Khalistan referendum activists who have been arrested on trumped up terror charges or sedition charges. If they say there is no movement, why would they arrest people from the Khalistan supporters who are just writing slogans on the walls, who are just raising a flag? If the movement has no life in Punjab, then let them write the slogans. You can go that there are pro-Khalistan Sikhs who have been arrested in Himachal, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Bombay, Uttar Pradesh. I think there are more pro-Khalistan Sikhs right now than they were in 1990s.
Panji, you have become a symbol more than a leader. On your one call, I have seen you can put out one status or you can put out one video, and thousands of people are ready to follow you. How do you feel about this power?
Means I don't have a power. This is all Guru's blessing, as I told you. And I'm not a leader. I'm not going to stand for any political position, even in Khalistan. What my goal is that somebody has to come out and campaign instead of just sitting in a place and making statements. That is the difference. We created a grassroots movement and the people see that. We were able to educate them. We were able to uncover the genocidal violence that the Sikhs have faced from 1955 when they first attacked Darbar Sahib to 1966 when there were, they call it riots, but every time it was Sikhs who were basically the target and they were killed. 1971, 1978, 1984, we have uncovered the genocidal violence that Sikhs were facing. And the people realize that. And the social media, through social media, it is now easy to put your narrative and put your facts out and counter what India was stating all these years that Khalistan equates to terrorism. Actually, it's the other way around. It's India, which is a terrorist country, which is being held accountable in Canada, in America, in UK. It's not the Sikhs who have used anytime violence in these countries or in Punjab. It is Indian government that have used violence, that have used torture, rapes, extrajudicial killings in Punjab. And once they failed to stop Khalistan referendum, they are bringing their transnational assassinations, death squads, and the hitmans in the Western world.
It's so ironic, and it's just the right timing for you to say this. I was going to come to this. It is India's favorite activity every other week to call out cross border terrorism and blame Pakistan for things we are not even aware about that we did. Luckily, they never have a proof,
Hey,
so Pakistan always saves grace. But like you said, transnational killings, and that to me is also cross border terrorism. I think India itself is a huge terrorist state. What can you say about the hypocrisy over here, blaming another
is
country
I
for
want
something?
to let me sorry to stop you, but I wanted to go back when they are talking about Pakistan. The reason they blame Pakistan because nobody counters them. Everybody, when anybody says, "Oh, Pahalgam was done by terrorists who came from Pakistan," or the Red Fort bombing is done by a terrorist. My question through you to Pakistan and the whole world is, how do you define a terrorist? They call me a terrorist, a mother, probably you are a mother or your mother. Nobody, no mother gives a birth to a suicide bomber, to a terrorist, or to a human bomb. These are the
Not at all.
circumstances which India has created from 1950, whether it's a Sikh freedom fighters in Punjab who became human bombs, or it's a freedom fighters in Kashmir who are forced to take an extreme reaction and do a suicide bombing or become a human bomb. All these things have to be openly discussed, stated, and that's what I made a statement 10 hours back, that no one is a born suicide bomber. No mother gives birth to a human bomb. This is the Indian system. Successive Indian regimes are giving birth to the human bombs, and this is going to continue. They think that the history is not going to repeat when it is about India. The British have seen it, the others have seen it. If they think by killing hundreds and thousands of Sikhs that they can kill the Khalistan movement, it didn't happen. They tried in 1984. We became even more. We picked up arms defensively and responded. We brought down their prime minister, even journal and anybody. And if they think they can come outside and start killing and there's not going to be response, you will see the future. We are at the first stage of the movement when we are using the international law. But when it comes to the extreme, we may not be doing that because we are Sikhs for justice and we want to follow the law and we want to follow the ballot and democratically. But do you think the history is not going to repeat? The same extreme actions which you have seen in the past, which you see at Red Fort, they, Indians, their torture, their violence gives birth to these violence.
Makes absolute sense. But can I also raise another narrative over here? Since Khalistan 2.0 is a very digital movement, so there's a lot of talk about it. It's actually taken social media by storm. So naturally, there's a lot of counter narratives to it also. So there are some questions, and I kind of want an answer to this also. If I don't know if it's ever going to happen, it's probably a hypothetical scenario at the moment, but if India and Pakistan become friendly at some point, or let's say if India improves its relations with Canada, where do you stand?
You know, we have a lot of respect for Pakistan, but anybody who is going to join India in making sure that the people of Punjab, Indian occupied Punjab, and the Sikh remains a slave, we will counter them. It's not about compromise. It's not about who's friend and who's an enemy. But anybody who supports India in the genocidal violence against Sikhs or to make sure that the Punjab remains a part of India, will counter them too. We tried our best by supporting Pakistan and by making sure that Sikh soldiers do not fight for India against Pakistan. We were expecting some steps from the Pakistan sides. If they feel connected the way we feel connected, I think this is the right time that they should stand with the people of Indian occupied Punjab and make sure that they liberate Punjab from the Indian occupation, because that would be the survival of Pakistan one day. Nobody will ever be able to attack Pakistan, especially this India.
Right. So about the referendum you mentioned, I am assuming that the referendum is supposed to be inside and outside India, both for all the Sikhs, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So that everyone gets a voice.
Everybody. Right now, we are going globally in the six continents. Once we are done outside globally, then we are going to hit the Punjab. It's like when you are on a path of freedom, um, and the one we know the steps what we know, but when Guru has to make more, give you a parallel paths, supports from the nations, and the instability in that particular regions. We all know that the nations are not born during peace times. We all know that, whether it was 1945, Second World War, First World War, or the wars happening right now. Nations are born during the times of the war. What we are doing is we are getting the Sikh community ready that if there is an opportunity now with this instability that's happening in that particular region, we should be ready to make sure that we are independent and we do not stay as a part of the Union of State of the India.
Right. So your end game is justice for Sikhs. It's not the breakup of India.
That is the breakup of India. That is going to be the starting point. That's why they wanted to make sure that they kill every Sikh who is talking about independence. They did it in 1990. That's why they are sending their death squads outside in the Western world, in America, Canada, to make sure that this movement does not culminate into the independence. Because they know that once Punjab is free, Kashmir is free, and then those chicken neck states, 7 states, they will be free. That will be the starting point of the balkanization of India.
Right. Panusab, just towards the end, I have two short questions left for you, but pretty important ones. So I'm going to start with a simpler one. I want you to give out a message to Pakistanis who, of course, love our Sikh brethren, but also anyone watching you right now, because I'm pretty sure there's, like I said, counter narratives also. What is your message in terms of where you are with your movement?
For people of Pakistan and the Pakistan government, like what Union of India is doing, they are thinking 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ahead. That's why they are uh, preparing themselves for the war. They are preparing themselves militarily, and they are going out and doing these military pacts. And who would be at the receiving end? That's what Pakistan needs to understand. And people of Pakistan, this is the time that you support this community, that you support the people of Indian occupied Punjab to liberate it from the Indian occupation and come up with a country, Khalistan. And Pakistan and Khalistan, once join hands, Hindustan will be wiped out of the map.
Right. And lastly, and I want this is a pretty interesting one for me, so I want you to give an honest answer. If you had 5 minutes face to face with Narendra Modi, what is that discussion going to be like between Gurpatwant Singh Pannu and Narendra Modi?
There will not be any face to face with Narendra Modi. This is ballot versus bullet. They don't join together. The only way there will be a face to face is whether then once he starts saying, okay, I'm ready to have a referendum in Punjab, or the day I will be ready to pick up a bullet and say, okay, let's have a now discussion on the armed. I wouldn't say discussion, but then I will say, okay, let's have a bullet to bullet talk.
So there's absolutely no chance for you and Modi to be on the same table to have diplomatic talks.
It is not going to happen unless we liberate Punjab from the Indian occupation. The only time we will be sitting on the table, whether it's Modi or not, to sign an independence pact, which will be a Khalistan. So if he wants to follow the ballot, fine. If he, unless we want to follow the bullet, then we'll figure it out.
I think your message is pretty loud and clear. I want to thank you over here, Mr. Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, because I do know it's pretty early in the day over where you live, the part of the world. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Yazi, for having such honest questions and giving me time. Thank you very much.
And you were a good sport. You answered them very honestly as well.
I just answer always from my heart. I don't make up answers.
I completely get that. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ji.
Ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen, the conversations never end. I will catch you next week here in the chat room with Shizza.